All right. Let's see here. Okay, I think this works. Perfect. So I've had to redo this class, so thank you for being patient with me. I am going to get my stuff ready here. All right. Let's begin. Make sure you can see me. Okay. Thank you for being patient with me recording this class. It's been a little bit of a learning curve on how I can do these things nomadically. All right, so creating a servitor. This has been one of my favorite classes because I'm so excited, and everybody who came was also very excited to create their own servitor and to recognize and realize the ones that they have already created. We've been doing this since we were little, and you may already have some that I've pointed out to you in session that are assisting you, that I can feel moving around in the ethers. Now, for example, well, first let's start. What is a servitor? A servitor is a thought form, a magical thought form, intentionally created for a specific purpose. And these purposes can vary. The servitors, there's advanced servitors, and we'll go through all the different types, and we'll go through the different types of thought forms, collective thought forms that are out there right now. Okay. So let's get talking about this. Now, introduction here, we have, a thought form intentionally created to fulfill a specific purpose is what a magical servitor is. The Hermetic perspective, it says all is mental. Your mind is connected to the great creative mind. The human mind is the microcosm with the universal macrocosm. And they filter back and forth, okay? Foundations for creating a servitor. This is more of an advanced class. So you need to be able to meditate, visualize, and to concentrate on that visualization for a little while. You need to be able to draw a symbol with your eyes closed in your third mind and even put colors to it. Like get to a point where you're able to do that. Thought forms are born from the combination of thought, emotional energy, and visualization. So being able to visualize it, creating the emotion, having that emotion, I would prefer it be a natural emotion coming from you to create this. And it's usually for help, and you're going to decide how long this servitor lasts, too. Okay, so the thought forms, depending on the energy, a thought form is created with it. So depending on the emotional charge, you can have different characteristics. So positive, luminous forms, while negative ones become dense, chaotic, and even destructive. So these thought forms can influence their creator, reinforcing behavioral patterns or affecting their environment. We see this a lot too with addicts, having a thought form that urges you on and stuff. So that would be created with the addiction. So they can be positive or negative. There's positive ones that we created as a child, like an imaginary friend if we needed a companion. And as we get older, women will create protective thought forms that are defensive towards men due to the culture of women. And I'll feel that when I connect with someone, if they have like a warrior or a protector type of thought form that gets defensive or just like doesn't open the doors, for me to read them because they're being protective. So some may have that protective type of thought form too. So thought forms can be generated without a conscious intention. And so these are the ones we create when we're in fear. We're in the world of fear. It comes from worrying, it comes from doubting, it comes from habits, it comes from fears. So, and these create a different type of thought form. Collective thought forms arise when several people focus their energy on the same concept. Now, these thought forms, they are called egregores, and you're going to hear that all over TikTok. What is an egregore? Blah, 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 blah. Egregores emerge from a collective energy of groups with shared goals, ideological movements. An example would be a sports team. Another example would be cults. They have strong thought forms about their beliefs. Astral larvae are the cyclical negative emotions, habits, and cycles of suffering. So this would be what's produced from addictions, from PTSD, from things that cycle, have larvae because they become moths, and it changes, and then you think it goes away and then it comes back. So now the egregores, the collective thought forms from groups, are fed by the attention and the emotion of the members. And this is why I've told people in the beginning to make sure when you start working with me, get out of any groups that you're not active in. It has stale energy, and you will be connecting to those collective thought forms. And we want to minimize as much as possible because we are learning to listen. Deep listening to ourselves and others. And okay, next will be tulpas. In Tibetan tradition, entities created through intense concentration and can develop autonomy. Kabbalistic golem. This is an entity constructed with a purpose and direction, typically in a master-slave dynamic. This comes from patriarchal mysticism, the golem, Lord of the Rings, master, protecting the precious, protecting the power. And these entities are, treated differently, made to do things, and eventually sometimes they get ignored and not fed, and then they just dissolve on their own. Dark projections are reflected, repressed aspects of the psyche arising from rejected or unresolved emotions. We've got a great example of that right now with this administration. So if you want to learn about dark projections, all you have to do is listen to the speeches and you will get a good idea of what people speaking through dark projections looks like and sounds like. Magical servitors are a little bit different. We treat them equally. You decide if you want to keep them till you pass. You decide if they have a certain type of length of life, or once they fulfill their purpose, they're done. It depends on what you're making them for. If you look at the Dream King show, he even created a thought form being for Cain or Abel during that scene. And then eventually it got taken away, but he was able to recreate it in the next episode, I believe. But it was super sad when the being went away. It was like Bing Bong going away in that Disney movie. So, okay. Requirements. You got to be able to visualize the entity, supply it with energy, and direct its purpose with precision. Magic is just practical discipline. So, what tasks can you get your servitor to do or intend them to do? Clear dense energies for you. A lot of witches or spiritual practitioners have these, whether they know it or not, even. Like, they're either consciously creating them or unconsciously creating them for themselves. So, to cleanse energies for you and your client, strengthen and repair bonds that need to be, attract favorable situations, provide protection, companionship, support, entertainment, stimulate your creativity. Some of us, have these little, you create these little fairies that give you ideas for music. Guardians against psychic attacks, cleanse your environment, help you with readings, help you find lost items, help you find love, help with career, finding opportunities, helping you stabilize your emotions. So help with regulation, improve your focus. You can boost your intuition, help shift the perception of a situation. You can also use it to find useful information. So there's many things that a servitor can do, and you'll look back on your life and be like, "Ooh, I remember making a servitor, in my 20s to help me, become a woman." I remember using a servitor to attract what I wanted to attract, and I never had an imaginary friend, but I did have something to help me find things. When I really wanted a four-leaf clover one time. So, categories of servitors. Now, when we're looking at these servitors and the different types that there are, I want to go through each one. Today, what I'm focusing on creating for and giving you a structure of creating is for a type 1 servitor. So with type 1 servitors, they're made of pure vital energy, and they are programmed with a specific purpose, and it's usually pretty simple. They're given, a shape, a name, a defined lifespan, and they're ideal for small, quick tasks that are straightforward, very simple. Type 2 servitors are more complex. They operate in multiple areas, such as maybe they'll help with money and love or work stuff. So type 2 can adapt. Type 1 fulfills their function. So it's a little bit different. Advanced magical servitors. Now, they're kind of like type 2, but they're a little bit different. So we have multi-purpose servitors, we have viral servitors, and we have companion servitors. Now, multi-purpose servitors are designed to operate with a specific domain performing multiple tasks within that area. Viral servitors have the ability to replicate. Now, those are like if you've ever watched the Minions movie, when they're going to see all the evil people, and there's that evil scientist that has a bunch of him. So they replicate to do multiple tasks within the same area. And they're like, "Don't kill the original." And then the original gets killed, and then they all go poof, 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 poof. They all disappear. So that's a viral servitor. Now, a companion servitor are not focused on like specific tasks, but like improving your quality of life. Okay. Now, when you start beginning to design your servitor, the first thing, this isn't going to start creating. It doesn't come alive until you do the ritual to make it come alive. But we want to start getting creative. What do you want? First thing, what do you want to achieve with this servitor? What tasks do you want it to perform? So what type of servitor do you really need to create? What name will it have? Start naming it. What will its personality be like? What will its appearance be like? What skills must it have to achieve your desired results? What are you going to feed it? How will its dissolution be carried out, or will it just go when you die? or will it help you pass on too and be there when you're passing on? Assist in death, maybe. So what degree of autonomy does your servitor have? What physical anchor will your servitor have? Sometimes I use my crystals as the anchors for my servitors, which are perfect anchors for servitors, in my opinion. Um, you know, uh, I lost my train of thought. uh, but anyways, this first stage is you just deciding what you want, what it's going to look like, what is the appearance, what are my desired results, and writing this down. Yep, what physical anchor will I have? What will I feed it? It's not alive until the ritual. Yep, I went ahead with teaching. Okay. So take as much time as you need to create it. I'm going to actually draw a picture of mine, and that picture is going to be part of its anchor. So clearly imagine what you would like to achieve with your servitor. Write down the results, what will be the specific tasks. Imagine how your entity will react to certain situations, and imagine the entity doing its normal tasks. When you activate your servitor, you're going to start teaching it its tasks. And you'll do this just by visualizing it doing the tasks too, and waiting for connection and questions from the thought form. Now, pre-ritual, after you figure out what type of servitor you're creating, what it's going to look like, the name, you'll get more details as you go. So pre-ritual, create a sigil. Now, there are two different methods here. I will use either or. Doesn't matter. You can pick which one you like. The pictorial method is like using pictures to create your sigil. So if I have a sigil that is just going to make everyone feel loved who works with me, and it's like this pink little bouncy plasma, and I would just draw what it looks like in the pictorial method and then have like a symbol that goes on it, like for me. So pictorial method, I would just draw it. I feel like that's the easiest way, but sigils are something quick and easy that you can use to connect easily. But so you can draw a picture. So a protector would have a shield. Maybe there's a heart in the compassion one, or the one that people need to feel love. You can keep it so simple, guys. It doesn't have to be super complex, even though you can make this fun and creative. The spare method is when you're writing out kind of the purpose here, and say like, you've probably seen this method on TikTok the most. There's someone on there that just creates sigils on the moment. You could say, help me find lost items. You're going to cross out all the vowels. You're going to leave the consonants, and then you're going to use the shapes of those consonants to create the symbol, the sigil. Sometimes when I'm trying to create a sigil, it just comes to me like what it is. I just get the symbol in my third eye, and I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. Prepare before you do your ritual. Like even before I do big sessions, big ceremonial consciousness exploration sessions where we go into deep gnosis, deep trance, there's a preparation involved. Do a cleansing bath. Do your centering or banishing. I did want to mention in this book, they do write out the method of the Golden Dawn in here. And so you can use that method. It's very powerful, and it's called the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram. And I can give that to you guys if you want it. But even smoke or incense rituals or flame rituals. I like to just light a candle. I like to keep it simple. Choose the color, lighting the flame, and like walking through the face, through your place, and visualizing what you want. Using an invocation or prayer, and then completion. So there's some that are so simple. You don't have to do like patriarchal mysticism, golden dawn, but you can try it as fun. Like we can do it together too. In the future, I can just post this banishing ritual and show you how to do it. Okay, next, activation of the symbol. So you're just going to want to draw the symbol at that point, and you're going to go into gnosis. So for when you activate just the symbol, you're going to enter into trance. I don't know if I wrote this down. Yeah, I did. Okay, enter into trance. Now this is just activating the sigil. You're going to focus on your created sigil. You're going to begin charging the servitor. So visualize your servitor. I like to say the name 3 times, or you can say, I invoke the light and presence of in all moments. You can say that 3 times. You can say it once. That will charge the symbol by staying connected with the servitor or symbol and deep concentration until you can visualize the complete symbol with your eyes closed. And then from there, you're going to imagine sitting in front of your servitor. And when you sit in front of it, I want you to, maybe your servitor smells like flowers. What does it smell like? Really sit with your servitor and make sure its eyes are closed because it's not awake yet. You're just putting it together, kind of creating a sim, okay? Hold on. Now, that was like the pre-ritual. And now we're beginning the next part. You're going to have to do a call. So after you do your banishing or centering or candle ritual, you're entering gnosis, you're charging your servitor sigil, you're visualizing it in front of you, you're making your magical intention declaration to call your servitor to life. Then you're going to start teaching your servitor. Teach the entity, explain how it receives energy, explain where it lives, explain its expectation. And this is what you're doing when people are sitting there with their eyes closed in meditation. So busy, right? So establish your anchor. Let them know where they live, and then you're going to send it off to begin its task. And this is how simple this really is. You can assign new tasks by doing another ritual and adding to the task. I like to stay in eye contact with my servitor and looking into its eyes deeply while I am sending images of the task and information it needs. Okay. Let's keep going. Now, some tips when creating your servitor. Stay in contact in your own way. Treat them with respect. It's a part of you. In a positive light. It's something that you can have a really good relationship with, right? It's teaching you about relationship. Remember that your task must align with the purpose, and establishing a dissolution plan prior to creation is humane way of doing this. You don't want to be, treating them with disrespect or doing what Voldemort did. He put made those symbols and servitors objects to hold his soul. That's some dark magic right there. So he can do other things without the soul recognizing what he was doing. I don't know. Like, that's an interesting concept with that dark magic. But, anyways, making sure you establish the dissolution plan prior to creation is ethical. And be clear. Be as clear as you can to what you want to achieve. And it's crucial to dissolve the servitor when it's finished. You don't want to waste energy, and you don't want to. What we used to do is just stop feeding it and ignore it. Like, you forget about your imaginary friend, right? Some people can do all of this mentally without any assistance. Like, they don't even need to draw it or anything like that. Maintain secrecy. And avoid using an image of somebody you know, or avoid using a name of somebody you know. It may cause confusion. Then I would have like a little journal just for you and your servitor. And if you have multiples, they should all have their own journal, kind of like having a dog. Like, you should, making sure that if you have multiple dogs, giving them all their own individual attention is important. So, and then in that journal, writing down your experiences that you had with your servitor. Now, frequently asked questions. How many servitors can I create? As many as you want. As many as you want. How often? As much as you want. But be careful. It's work to maintain and get good results. Divination bees? Yes, always. Yes. How often should I feed the servitor? Excuse me. I would say as much as the task it's doing is as much feeding it needs. And the servitor can never just like run away or not fulfill its task or escape you in any way. Okay. Now that we've gone through the PowerPoint, and this is the book it is based off of right here, How to Create, Manage, and Maintain Them. Now, I like to say to maintain them with a candle, because I love having a candle burning all the time. It's very cleansing. I love it. And so I would have a pitcher with a candle in front of it with its crystal. I like those pillar points or spheres for anchors for my servitors. That's like my favorite, but you can choose anything, and it can be based on its task. Like, if it's helping you with its readings, then your pendulum can be the anchor. If it's helping you with your health, maybe, or helping you get moving, maybe its anchor is going to be something else. I would even go as far as saying like a vision board can be its anchor and have a picture on it, and maybe even pictures of its tasks. Like, you can make this very visual if you'd like to, and it may help even further. And then you have its little journal right there, maybe a little pocketbook, a little thing that you can write in. What colors too? Make sure, like my servitor that will be to help others in my Patreon will be lavender, so they're able to recognize that it's of my energy. If it doesn't work out, just use the dissolving technique that I'm going to write and give you guys up. I'm going to give you the whole process. I'll write it up for you, and the dissolving clause. A lot of people, I just dissolve it like into particles. Or poof it into smoke, or like my visualization is so strong that it makes it very easy for me to do. And so like when I read, even when I'm reading in the books, I'm like, it is so easy to just, but you can also assign a word or a phrase and that's your dissolution phase, and give gratitude, then dissolve it. Or maybe gratitude is the way to dissolve it once the task is fulfilled. So see how the rules are up to you. You don't have to follow patriarchal mysticism, but the more specific and that you are and more clear, the more effective your spirit, your servitor is going to be. For protection, I would also, you can play with animals, not just for protection, for other things. So, like, say you're helping, you need getting a servitor to help you to remote view. Maybe this servitor has wings. It needs to have wings to fly. That's what it looks like. Maybe its sigil has wings. Um, you know, the characteristics of certain animals, if it's needed, that may help too with the pictorial method or with what it looks like in general. Um, okay. So I'm trying to remember if there were any questions in the class, because this is my redo, um, that people asked. And I don't think there was many questions. It was more like everybody was really just excited to do the ritual and create a servitor. So I will print up that ritual for you and post it with this video and the slides. Um, and I hope you really enjoy this. This is more of an advanced mystical work, and it'll be interesting to see what you create. And if you want to share it with in the chat, please do. I would love, but it's supposed to be secret, so only if you want to. I'm going to share what is in contact with you guys, because then you know what it is, and you're not like, invasion. It's like, no, it's just Kayla's little helper. So, um, yeah, and so that's about it. If you have any questions, you can comment on this video, and I'll answer it promptly. So I hope you enjoyed this. It was a quick way to create a servitor and to realize the servitors you have already created in your life, and have fun making this beautiful creature. So.